how to get freelance copywriting clients. I'm going to give you 4 strategies for beginners. All right, you want to get started? Let's do this. First of all, I'm Sarah Turner. I'm a copywriter and copywriting mentor. And I want to talk to you about my 4 favorite strategies that I've now seen implemented like thousands of times. So I know it might be kind of obnoxious that I talk about my students, but the thing is now I have more experiences to pull from than just my own. And I think that's really important. So that's why I do it. Anyway, so first and foremost, you know I love cold emailing. If you've hung out or watched any of my YouTube videos, I think cold emailing is fantastic. You get to hand select the people you want to work with, right? But for you to cold email effectively, you really got to know who you want to email. So you got to get your ideal client in mind, which is why I recommend picking a niche. And then you can use tools like hunter.io, find and guess emails. You know, I recommend keeping a spreadsheet where you keep it all organized and then sending out cold emails. So here are the other things about cold emails. You really need to make them personal. I get cold emails multiple times a week, and most of them are horrendous. They're like not specific. I don't even know if they know who I am. They're super generic. They're just like copy and pasted. Don't do that. Take the time to actually acknowledge who they are, mention something that is relevant to them, especially in the subject line. My favorite subject lines include their first name, include something that you know about them, either a conference that they went to or, you know, something that they've written or just something about them to kind of activate, you know, their reticular activating system. So like, oh, this person might know me in real life and they'll be more likely to open it. Another one that I like are questions, just asking them a question. So once you get that together, you can use a template. Just make sure you personalize it, right? Make sure you're sending them out consistently. Like the thing about cold emailing, I'm going to also talk to you and be really frank with you about kind of the pros and cons, I guess. Like some people have things that they like or dislike about each of these. And again, that's why I talk about the students all the time, because my students have given me a lot more feedback and information than I would have on my own. So with cold emailing, some of the pros are that you really get to work with the people you love. Like I'm talking, you can email that CEO that you has of the company that you totally admire and love. It happens. So don't sell yourself short. Don't go to the bottom, go straight to the top. The thing that people struggle with cold emailing is that it can be really tedious and it does take a while. But remember, you're always adding people to the top of your funnel and they'll trickle through. So you want to always be adding people to the top of the funnel. So it's really about being consistent. If you cold email for a week and then say it didn't work, you didn't cold email. So the other thing that people don't like about it is I often hear people say it makes them feel lonely, which is a really interesting thing. I haven't experienced that myself, but I really think that comes with like over identifying with the online world, which is kind of hard now because we're all like home a lot more, and it can be easier to over identify with the online world. But like try and remind yourself, like cold emailing, these people don't know you, and if they reject you or send you in a different direction, as I like to call it, redirection, not rejection, they don't know you, right? So it's not you as a human that they are rejecting. It's just the email is not speaking to them. So it's really good practice also in trying not to take things personally with your copywriting. But yeah, just keep that in mind. Anytime you get a no, it's not a no to you personally. It's just your email. And think about, like, go throughout your day and think about all the different times you say no to something. Like, I don't know, you come across offers and copywriting all the time and you say no because things are not the right time, not the right fit, a million other reasons, right? So really just consider that when you're cold emailing. I have lots of videos about cold emailing, so you can definitely check them out. That goes through more of the detailed, step-by-step approach and things to include. But I really wanted to give you an overview of the 4 strategies I find most effective in finding new clients. So the second one is LinkedIn. LinkedIn is awesome, y'all. So what you want to do though with LinkedIn is you really want to make sure that you optimize the above the fold section of your profile. Make your banner something that includes your contact information, because people who aren't even connected with you can see that information. Give yourself a title that is something somebody might search in the search bar to find you. Your photo does not need to be professional. It just needs to be, not super casual. A nice selfie even works. And And also keep in mind that you don't necessarily need to have a previous career that backs up your copywriting. Trust me, so many people have done it. I mean, there are people less qualified than you copywriting right now. So don't worry too much if it doesn't perfectly align. And also, truly, most people don't scroll down that far. They just look at all the stuff at the top. So write a really compelling about me, and make sure that when you're writing that top part, kind of the who I am section, don't write it like a resume. Don't write it like a resume. What you are doing is you are addressing your ideal client and you're saying how you're going to solve their problem. Everything should be written that way. You want to touch on what it is that you are going to solve, right? And so those are kind of the main elements of your LinkedIn profile. And then you want to build connections. So that's the next part of the strategy. So building connections, depending on how long you've had a profile. If you're starting a brand new one, it's going to take you a little bit longer. If you are, have an existing one that you're kind of transforming into your copywriting one, it's going to be a lot faster. But you want to slowly build connections, and don't get locked out of LinkedIn by trying to connect with too many people, okay? Because it happens. Just 50 a day, think about it. If you just do it consistently, you're going to have 500 connections before you know it. And the more connections you get, the easier it is for you to make connections. I mean, LinkedIn just does that to try and prevent people from being spammed. So as you're making these connections, you can always send them a little note that's like, hey, this is why I wanted to connect with you. You don't need to pitch yourself though. Just say, hey, just wanted to connect. And then what I recommend you do is you actually use the LinkedIn platform to post. So post about your niche, post about your services, and post about how you're going to help your ideal client. But don't make it overly like a pitch, right? You just want to be helpful. So post, I would say 3 times a week, and spend some time liking and commenting on relevant and related posts and interactions or whatever on LinkedIn. Batch this work though. Like, you don't want to be hanging out on LinkedIn all the time, right? So set aside an hour or two to schedule and figure out what your content's going to be throughout the week, and set aside time to go in and kind of interact with people, because what's going to happen is they're going to start to see you as an expert, and your authority and credibility is going to grow in LinkedIn. So that's the strategy for LinkedIn. And then you engage with them in DMs, and you say, people will start reaching out to you probably more quickly than you imagine. And this is a wonderful strategy. So a lot of people who like this strategy prefer it because they like that it feels more like organic networking rather than a cold email. The reason I don't really enjoy it, me personally, is pretty much for that reason. I don't really want just any random leads coming in, but some people are less picky about their leads, or they're starting out, they just want to get started, right? But that's really the strategy. And the main thing I want to drive home about LinkedIn is don't overthink it. Like, your profile does not work on the top of the fold. It does not need to be, don't make it like a resume, and you do not need to have like 10 years of experience to back it up. So, that is the LinkedIn strategy. My third strategy that I really love are Facebook groups. I mean, Facebook is not my favorite anymore, but Facebook groups are. Facebook groups are amazing, and there are so many groups for so many different industries and niches. And so you can find where your ideal client is hanging out. I mean, if you determine that they're in Facebook groups. And one of the great things about that is you can get into a Facebook group where your ideal client is hanging out, and it's even better if you can find one where they're trying to get a problem solved. So we're copywriters, so marketing, people who are getting marketing help. Maybe it's e-commerce people getting marketing help, or for me, it would be doctors getting marketing help. So you can find Facebook groups where people are asking questions, and you can, again, create posts that are helpful and relevant. And basically the goal is very similar to LinkedIn in that you want to establish credibility and build your authority. One thing I want to say about the Facebook groups, though, is that it's more casual, and you do want to optimize your profile. So I would make sure that, first of all, your profile should be public. So you got to be okay with that. But you make sure that your profile picture, it can be more casual than LinkedIn, but it should still be like acceptable. And also you want to make sure that you have a link to your website on there, because what's going to happen is people are going to see your helpful posts, they're going to click on your profile, and you want them to be able to see, okay, here's how I can get in touch with this person. Here's how I can snoop on them, right? Put your copywriting website on there. You can see on my Facebook profile, I've done that. Actually, it's the Write Your Way to Freedom link right now. So you want to just kind of get that a little bit ready. It doesn't have to be overcomplicated, really, truly. Just talk about in your little bio, like who you are, what you do. And so again, the key is to create really helpful posts and batch your work. Come up with a few posts at the beginning of the week, post them throughout. Don't bombard a Facebook group though. You might piss off the admins. And also, again, the key here is to not pitch too hard. So, but one thing you do want to do is in your posts and in your comments, because you want to also go back through and comment and like and everything like that. Make sure you include a CTA that says to DM you or something like that, so that people do know that they can reach out to you. Like, hey, here's an answer to your question, blah, 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 super helpful, lots of value, right? If you're still confused, or if you want to know more, actually, that sounds a little like salesy. I would probably say something more along the lines of like, feel free to DM me. I'd be happy to help further, something like that. So that is the Facebook group strategy. Again, people tend to like it because it feels maybe a little more organic, a little more casual. Where people don't like it is when they don't want to use their Facebook for business purposes. But I just feel like the trend is to use it more for business, because it's just not really the same anymore. It's not really about connecting with family like it once was. So if you're okay with that, it's a really great strategy. The other thing I love about Facebook groups is it's copywriting research gold. So you're going to learn so much about what people are talking about, the lingo they're using, and, the struggles and desires that they have, which can be incorporated into your copy. So that's another golden piece of the Facebook group situation. The fourth one is a referral program, and I strongly recommend that everyone has a referral program. And the reason is because everything I just said up until now is a more time-consuming strategy. And so you're going to want to implement something into your, systems that isn't time-consuming, but the alternative is generally money, right? So you want to offer people you're working with, current clients, and also people who work with your clients. So for me, like a peripheral ideal client would be a social media manager, a virtual assistant, a graphic designer, a web developer, right? Because we're all working together with certain clients. So having a referral program that you mentioned to those people is equally as important as people who are your ideal client. So my referral program, I just basically say, hey, if you refer a paying client to me, that's a key word, I'll give you $100, or I have a referral bonus of $100 is a more eloquent way of putting that. And the reason that first of all, $100 is the reason I chose that number is because it's sufficient for someone to think, oh, dang, like that's a decent amount of money. And so it gets their attention. It's also a very generous thank you for someone sending you a client. Now, I have lots of people initially resist this because they're like, $100, no way, that's money that could be in my pocket, it's money that I could have earned, it's my paycheck, so many different excuses. But here's the thing, you are exchanging money and not your time. All the other options that I had said before that were time. Now we're talking about money, and you want to make it, sufficient and substantial so that people actually act on it, right? And $100 to me is just like, that's an effective amount of money. And then this is the mindset challenge I want to give you. If you are resistant to a referral program, I want you to think about how many hours it takes you to cold email, to network, to LinkedIn, to Facebook group, to do all of that stuff, to start building your client base. And then I want you to think about how much you charge per hour. And I'm willing to bet you that $100 for a new paying client is absolutely worth your time and money. So make sure you do that math before you poo-poo the idea altogether. The other thing is it's constantly running. So you're going to get it to a point where when you initially you're going to have bringing on clients and more volume and working more on client acquisition as you're a newbie copywriter, right? But eventually you're going to get to a point where you're going to have like a big client load, and you need a way for clients to continue to come in without actually doing all that time consuming outreach. So a referral program is a really great way to do that. And if you're worried about feeling salesy, you just don't it doesn't need to be. It can be a really generous gift. So with that in mind, I always give somebody my referral bonus, even if they don't request it and if they don't know about it. So I've had clients like refer another client who becomes a paying client, and I'm like, hey, not sure if you even knew about my referral program, but I always give somebody who refers a paying client to me, I always offer a referral bonus of $100. Thank you so much for sending this client my way. It's going to be, I just really appreciate you and trusting this client with me. So that's always what I do. And, eventually they're like, a lot of times, that will be, if they have two professionals they're thinking about, like two copywriters, they're probably going to be more inclined to send that client lead to you if they feel very similarly about them. So really challenge your mindset on this if you're feeling resistant to it, because it's been really effective in helping me grow my client base. And you might run up against the thing where I have somebody I work with regularly where she had $100 referral bonus, and we just kind of kept passing it back and forth to each other, and it was very funny. For me, it's I just want to make sure I reiterate, it's really just a simple one line that I include in an email, usually about other things. So I'm like, oh, by the way, it's not like a big thing. And I give it to them if usually they connect me via email where they're like together and they're like, hey, I just want to introduce you to this copywriter, Sarah, blah, blah, blah. Or sometimes they'll come to me after the fact and say, hey, by the way, I referred so-and-so. And I always give it to them. I don't question it. If they happen to know the name of a client who reached out to me and started working with me, it's likely that they did. And the other way that usually happens is somebody will come to me and be like, hey, I was given your name by so-and-so. And then I'll reach out to them and say, hey, by the way, thank you so much for referring me. I give a $100 referral bonus. What's your PayPal link? Really as simple as that. Very effective and very helpful. So I hope that helps. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up button if this helped you at all. And of course, leave me some comments. I love reading them, and let me know what you want to see in the future. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Thanks, guys.